President Joel, Governor Cuomo, honored guests, I have the distinct privilege of introducing our Convocation Chairman, Dr. Felix Glaubach. Dr. Glaubach is a longtime friend, benefactor, supporter, and member of the Board of Trustees of Yeshiva University. Dr. Glaubach.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 91st Annual Hanukkah Convocation and Dinner of Yeshiva University. At this time, I would like to give thanks to Hashem Yisbarach for granting me this chus to be associated actively with Yeshiva University for 73 years. It is a great pleasure to join with you tonight in celebration of our distinguished honorees. The Chief Marshal, Dr. Selma Botman, Provost and Vice President of Academic Affairs, will now proceed with the convocation ceremonies. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise and join in the singing of our national anthem, led by Cantor Eric Freeman, Associate Director of Philip and Sarah Bell's School of Jewish Music of Yeshiva University. Then please remain standing for the invocation.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
The invocation will be delivered by Rabbi E. Samuel Klibanoff, Rabbi of Congregation Etz Chaim in Livingston, New Jersey, and a member of the Yeshiva University High School's Board of Trustees.
Ribono Shel Olam, Master of our universe, who has commanded us L'hadlik ner shel Chanukah, to kindle the lights of Hanukkah, grant us the freedom and blessing to continue illuminating this world in exemplary fashion via one of the greatest menorahs known to man, Yeshiva University. Kindly grant us the ability for this auspicious institution to serve as a light unto the nations through its outstanding leaders, rabbis, faculty, and promising students. Lord, you have performed countless miracles for us and our forefathers, Bayamim hahem baziman hazeh, in those days and in this time. We beseech you to continue to grant success, prosperity, and renown to Yeshiva University for all times, present and future. Finally, though this is the final night of Hanukkah, let us all reflect on the accomplishments and benevolence of our guests of honor and say, Shehechayanu v'kiyamanu v'higiyanu lazaman hazeh. We thank them for their unwavering support and continued ambassadorship. We pray for you, Hashem, to bless this gathering and all those who share the vision and mission of Yeshiva University. We thank you for your everlasting kindness in allowing us to reach this very day and this very moment with esteem and grandeur. And let us all say together, Amen.
The 2015 Hanukkah Convocation is now officially in session. Please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, I now call upon the Chairman of the Board of Trustees of Yeshiva University, Mr. Moshael Straus.
Governor Cuomo, Presidential, Dr. Lamb, honorary degree recipients, fellow trustees, friends. As chairman of the Yeshiva University Board of Trustees, I welcome you to the 91st Annual Yeshiva University Hanukkah Dinner and Convocation Ceremony. We are acknowledging 5 special individuals: Dr. Benjamin Chouake, Rabbi Dr. Herbert Dobrinsky, Norman Sternthal, Mark Wilf, and a special acknowledgement to Governor Cuomo, who took time out of his busy schedule to be with us this evening to accept our degree. It is our honor to honor all of you. I would like to thank my predecessors as chairman, Henry Kressel and Maury Weiss, who also join us this evening. I know I stand on the shoulders of giants, and we appreciate your work on behalf of Yeshiva. Yeshiva University is the nation's Jewish, student-centered, values-based university devoted to teaching, learning, and research. Our commitment to Torah, rigorous curricula, intellectual exploration, and service to community prepare each student for a successful, meaningful life. As chairman, I see a wonderful institution advancing strongly, not just leaving an indelible mark on our past, but shaping the future. This future is possible because of our product, the wonderful men and women who pass through our doors into our classrooms. I hope you will learn more about some of them this evening. Our passionate board, an incredible group of senior leaders, and the strong faculty and staff will allow us to continue our good work for many years to come. Thank you for joining us this evening, and happy Hanukkah. And now it is my great pleasure to call upon my partner in leading our institution, the president of the Yeshiva University, Richard Joel.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you so very much for your patience this evening. Of course, this is my fault. I would like to tell you that for some inexplicable reason, the governor was delayed at the George Washington Bridge, but since he came from LaGuardia, the governor was here on time. I was completing my remarks, so it's my fault. So, and you'll all remind me, particularly Mr. Bravman, when we get to the points of light and we're 15 minutes late, I don't expect to hear a word. It is my great pleasure to welcome you and us all to the 91st Hanukkah Dinner and Convocation of Yeshiva University. I take extraordinary pleasure, as I do each year, in welcoming President Emeritus Norman Lamb and Mindy Lamb, who join us today, whose wisdom has informed us and continues to inform us. And I'm sure you all join me in wishing Dr. Lamb a happy birthday. I also want to acknowledge the presence of, among our most distinguished alumni, Dr. Leon Charney and his wife, Tzila, who joins us again today. So we gather tonight to celebrate the sacred undertaking that is Yeshiva University and to reassert tonight who we are. 3,000 undergraduates here and in Israel, and several thousand graduate students committed to a timeless yet radical idea that humans matter, that we are mandated by God to ennoble life, that the values of Torah are our guide in so doing, that the world hungers for caring and compassion, purpose and principle, meaning and success. Yeshiva provides our students with all that through a sense of shalemut, through a sense of integrity, the harmony of inspired education and profound purpose in a unique community that serves as a lifelong network of support and the infrastructure of our community. And tonight, we gather to honor 5 individuals who represent who we are and what we wish for our children. On this 8th night of Hanukkah, we look toward the menorah and its ever-increasing lights and are inspired and warmed by its message, that as they glow and grow, so do we, as individuals, as family, as a community, and as a profound university. On behalf of the Board of Trustees, our faculty, our Rabbeim, and our students, I thank you for your support for our noble cause and welcome you tonight. Thank you very much.
Thank you, President Joel. We begin tonight's awards and honors with the Presidential Medallion, which is the highest honor that can be bestowed upon a member of the Yeshiva University professional community. It is awarded on rare occasions to the most exemplary of individuals, and tonight's awardee certainly meets that standard. Those of you who have attended Hanukkah dinners and convocations in the past years have probably been wondering, where is Dr. Dobrinsky? We want the real herald. Serving as the herald for our convocations is just one of the myriad ways Dr. Herbert Dobrinsky has given of himself to serve Yeshiva and provided a model for me. We gave him tonight off from his heralding duties so we can honor him. On behalf of my father and my mother, who owe Dr. Dobrinsky their careers and life's paths, and on behalf of myself and Julie, we want to express our deep gratitude to Dr. Dobrinsky, our mentor, who continues to teach us every day what it means to be a professional, a colleague, and a mensch. President Joel, I'm pleased to introduce, I'm honored, I'm touched to introduce for this award our outstanding Vice President for University Affairs, Rabbi Dr. Herbert C. Dobrinsky. Dr. Dobrinsky, please join us at the podium. This year's recipient of the Presidential Medallion, Rabbi Dr. Herbert Dobrinsky, will be presented by Mr. Philip Freeman, Vice Chairman of the Yeshiva University Board of Trustees. Joining in presentation of the medallion are Mr. David Ashagian and Mrs. Shira Yosher.
Mr. President, I am honored and so happy to present Yeshiva University's Vice President for University Affairs for over 4 decades, Rabbi Dr. Herbert Dobrinsky, to receive the Presidential Medallion.
Thank you, sir. So I think it's only appropriate that Dr. Dobrinsky's bride and partner in all his endeavors, including yeshiva, stand by his side as we present him with this honor. Obviously, God agrees that they're the right partnership, because tonight is, according to the Hebrew calendar, their 63rd wedding anniversary. So I'll make it quick and painless, okay? It is profoundly, in Russian, Herb, you can see if I'm telling the truth.
Translate.
In Russian, the word dobre, the root of your name, means good. In your case, Dr. Dobrinsky, good is a profound understatement. Herbert Dobrinsky, since you attended Yeshiva University High School in 1948, you've been a man of Yeshiva and for Yeshiva. In your over 65 years as a student of Yeshiva, an advocate for Yeshiva, a builder of Yeshiva, and as a bond between our beloved institution and the many individuals who care for it, none has cared more deeply than you. A native of Montreal, you earned degrees from 5 Yeshiva University-affiliated institutions: our high school, Yeshiva College, ordination from the Rabbi Isaac Elchanan Theological Seminary, a master's degree from YU's Graduate School of Education, and before it was Azrieli, and your doctorate in education from the Furkauf Graduate School. Along the way, you learned not only subject material, but something much deeper: the profundity of service, a sincere warmth and caring for others, and an abiding love for the institution you call home. After serving for 5 years as the rabbi in Beth Israel Synagogue in Halifax, Nova Scotia, you were in Nova Scotia, you returned to Yeshiva University. As director of rabbinic placement, you placed 400 rabbis in pulpits across North America. Named executive assistant to President Samuel Belkin in 1973, and subsequently vice president for university affairs, you have served 3 Yeshiva University presidents over the course of your tenure thus far. Among your proudest accomplishments is the work you have done in preserving Sephardic culture and heritage in North America by co-sponsoring and co-founding the Sephardic Studies program at Yeshiva, together with President Belkin and Rabbi Dr. Solomon Gaon, the late chief rabbi of the Sephardic congregations of the British Commonwealth. Along with establishing the program, you authored the widely acclaimed Treasury of Sephardic Laws and Customs, now in its 3rd edition. Not bad for an Ashkenazi Jew. As a steward of major gifts, you are also a steward of souls. In assisting benefactors to support programs they are passionate about, including Yeshiva's Holocaust Studies program and the world's first endowed Holocaust Studies chair, you see not just the goal, but the person. I was surprised when I learned that I was not the only person to receive a personalized New Year's greeting from you. In fact, this room is filled with those whose relationship with you is deeply personal and deeply personalized. You recall children and grandchildren, attend family simchas, and share times of sorrow. In part, Yeshiva is a family because you make it so. You invited David Azrieli to name the university's Graduate School of Education, and Jewish education has never been the same. You have secured thousands of scholarships for students who wish to attend all levels of Yeshiva University schools, and their educational experience has never been the same. You have helped establish 38 professorial chairs, strengthened all Yeshiva University boards. Most importantly, you have built a wonderful family with your wife Dina, your children, Aaron and Cindy, Tova and Larry Cohn, and Debbie and Michael Kramer are Jewish leaders in their own right. On a personal note, the first time Richard Joel saw Yeshiva University, it was at an Honors Society event, planned, organized, and produced by an only slightly younger Herb Dobrinsky. Like so many others, I first saw Yeshiva University through your eyes. Dr. Dobrinsky, you are not only dobra, good. In Russian, dobra also conveys greatness. You are great. Through your commitment, you've ignited greatness in Jewish learning, community, and the beauty of personal relationships at our university, and the profound message of individual responsibility. It is the greatest of pleasures to award you the Presidential Medallion, which I cause to be placed over your shoulders as a visible symbol of our gratitude and affection. Mazel tov. Sorry.
That is so beautiful. I am virtually speechless, which is unusual. I thank you, President Joel, for that magnificent tribute, but it really belongs to so many others besides myself, to you, to Rabbi Dr. Norman Lamb, who is here tonight and whom we wish Ad Me'ah V'Esrim Shana in good health, together with Yerashis Chayil Mindy, and to the late revered Dr. Samuel Belkin, and to all my colleagues, to all the scholars, everyone at Yeshiva who makes it the great institution that it is, that enabled me to work alongside them and with their help. Because of time, I shall be very brief, but I want to say that it really is a coincidence that tonight happens to be the 63rd anniversary of Dina and Herbert Dobrinsky. But more important than that commemoration is the true fact that I never did anything that I could have accomplished without Dina. Not only at my side, but proactively being an active partner in everything that I've ever done, not only through self-sacrifice, and for that of my children as well, whose father was oftentimes traveling around the world and in North America, but in their own lives when perhaps they were a little neglected, and for that I've always apologized. But I do want to say that this medallion belongs not to me, but equally so to you, Dina. You are the love of my life, and I thank you for all that you have done to make all of this possible. And I thank all of you. I just will repeat the words I said when I received the Aluf Torah Rabbi Yosef Dov Soloveitchik Award at the Chag HaSmicha in 2010. Shali v'shelachem, shalahi. Whatever I have been able to achieve and whatever benefit I've been able to provide in the Jewish community, it is because of her.
Tonight's first honorary degree recipient, Dr. Benjamin S. Chouake, will be presented by Dr. Mordechai Katz, Vice Chairman of the Yeshiva University Board of Trustees, Chairman of the Board of Overseers for Bernard Revel Graduate School of Jewish Studies, Member of the Board of Overseers for Azrieli Graduate School of Jewish Education and Administration, and Member of the Board of Trustees for the Rav Yitzchak Elchanan Theological Seminary. Joining in hooting are Mr. Joshua Muss, Mr. Stanley Raskus, and Mr. Moshael Straus.
Come. Where's Dr. Benjamin?
President Joel, it is my honor to present Dr. Benjamin S. Chouake, member of the Boards of Overseers for Yeshiva College and for the Bernard Revel Graduate School of Jewish Studies at Yeshiva University, and is the national president of NORPAC for the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters, honoris causa.
Dr. Ben Chouake, come closer. Dedicated physician, dynamic Israel advocate, community leader, husband, and father, you embrace the most worthy of causes, the lives of others and the enduring life of the Jewish state. And in these, you invest every ounce of your abundant energy, passion, and resources. Your mother, Pepe, was a Holocaust survivor, and your father was the son of Syrian immigrants. You were raised early on, understanding that building a life of meaning requires commitment, determination, and the courage to take risks. As a middle school student, you were one of the first class of 6 students to attend the North Shore Hebrew Academy. After middle school, you entered the public school system, joining the track team at Francis Lewis High School because it was a rough school and you figured you needed to learn how to run fast. Ever the pioneer, in college, you were one of only 4 graduates to obtain a degree in the then-emerging field of biochemistry. Having learned to care for yourself, you then turned your focus toward the care of others, earning a medical degree from SUNY Downstate and certification in both internal and emergency medicine. You were appointed Associate Director of Emergency Medicine at Beth Israel Medical Center and then Director of the Pascack Valley Hospital Department of Emergency Medicine. You also founded your own multi-specialty medical group, Cliffside Medical, which you operate today. Upon moving to Bergen County, you noticed that the area was lacking a system of advanced emergency care. Not one to sit idly by, you developed the infrastructure for a paramedic system to train and deploy a sophisticated team of paramedics, nurses, and doctors in one of the first such sites in the state. You also founded the first advanced cardiac life support training site in Bergen County. Thousands of medical professionals have been trained by the program you initiated and implemented, all on a volunteer basis. In 1997, you became involved in a budding pro-Israel organization called NORPAC. Despite its fledgling status, you believed in its mission to support the campaigns of members of Congress who promote strong United States-Israel relations. All the organization needed, you thought, was a cheerleader. In 2000, you became president and started to cheer. And in 2 years, you and your team had propelled NORPAC into becoming the largest pro-Israel political action committee in the country. Your spirit of volunteerism has permeated the organization, and NORPAC remains a volunteer organization run by those who work for the love of the cause. You became involved with Yeshiva University when your son Jason, now a physician, attended Yeshiva College and then Einstein. Quickly becoming involved, you're now an overseer of both Yeshiva College and Bernard Revel Graduate School. You and your wife Esther established the Esther and Ben Chouake Scholarship at Yeshiva College in 2003, so more students could be educated in the spirit of passion and compassion that you embody. You and Esther, a graduate of the dermatology residency program at Einstein, are blessed with 4 children: Jason and Miriam, Tova and Michael Javit, Robbie and Atara, and 6 grandchildren, a family that shares your commitment to excellence, service, and the Jewish future. For your tireless work on behalf of your patients, Yeshiva University, and Israel, and the entire Jewish community, it is my great privilege to confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters honoris causa. In honor thereof, I cause to be placed over your shoulders this visible symbol of our high regard for you, and I hand you this diploma. Congratulations, sir. Thank you.
Tonight's next honorary degree recipient, a landsman, Mr. Norman Sternthal, will be presented by Mr. Maury Weiss, Chairman Emeritus of the Yeshiva University Board of Trustees. Joining and hooding are Dr. Herbert Dobrinsky, Mr. Martin Lieberman, Mrs. Renee Lieberman, and Mr. Joel Schreiber.
Mr. President, I'm pleased to present Mr. Norman Sternthal, Yeshiva University benefactor, member of the Yeshiva College Board of Overseers, director of Canadian Friends of Yeshiva University, and co-founder of Group A Fairway for conferral of Honorary Doctorate of Humane Letters, honoris causa.
Come closer. Norman Sternthal, you are, like your parents before you, a builder. Working to sustain communities and centers of learning, you understand that growth requires not only investing in what is new, but also in nurturing the eternal. Your parents, Joel and Sarah Sternthal of blessed memory, were pillars of the Montreal Jewish community and among the first major supporters of Yeshiva University in Montreal. Actually, your father's office eventually became the local address of Canadian Friends of Yeshiva University. Your parents founded the first Jewish high school in the region, which became the Hebrew Academy. And your father played a key role in the founding of Bar Ilan University in Israel, which you later attended. A student of Talmud, you studied privately and regularly with the world-renowned former chief rabbi of Montreal, Rabbi Pinchas Hirschsprung. But like your parents before you, you wear your deep wealth of secular and Torah knowledge modestly and warmly, and you have determined to share the beauty and heritage of Torah with our students and with the community. Professionally, you develop quality commercial and residential property through the real estate firm you co-founded in Montreal with your brother-in-law, Aaron Gelber. Personally, you develop not just homes, but hearts and minds. Together with your wife, Joanne, an acclaimed theatrical producer, author, and philanthropist, you established the Joanne and Norman Sternthal Foundation to support the causes that you both hold dear: Jewish education, human services, and cultural organizations. In the memory of your parents and teachers, you endowed an annual lecture, the Rabbi Pinchas and Rebbetzin Alta Chaya Hirschsprung and Joel and Sarah Sternthal Memorial Lecture, to be given by an outstanding yeshiva graduate. You serve as director of Canadian Friends of Yeshiva University, sit on the Yeshiva College Board of Overseers. Most recently, you and your wife established the Norman and Joanne Sternthal Halacha Lamasa program at the Rabbi Isaac Elchanan Theological Seminary to ensure that our young rabbis are trained to understand and meet today's complex halachic challenges. Together with your twin brother Melvin, your brother Bernard, and your sister Judy Gelber, you help ensure that our Jewish future is built upon an eternal foundation of Torah wisdom and commitment. As a builder, you see not what is, but what can be. Norman Sternthal, you are our builder. It is my honor to confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters honoris causa. In token thereof, I cause to be placed over your shoulders this visible symbol of our high regard for you, and I hand you this diploma. Mazel tov. Thank you very much.
Our next honoree, Mr. Mark Wilf, will be presented by Dr. Henry Crisell, Chairman Emeritus of the Yeshiva University Board of Trustees. Joining in hooding are Mrs. Marjorie Diener Blenden, Mr. Jack Nagel, and Mr. Zygmunt Wilf.
Mr. President, I am pleased to present Mr. Mark Wilf, Yeshiva University trustee and benefactor, principal of Garden Homes Development, and president of the Minnesota Vikings, for conferral of the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters, honoris causa.
Mark Wilf, we are so honored to have you leading our team at Yeshiva University. And we have a perfect record. A true community builder in every sense. You were born and raised in one of YU's first families, a birthright which you and your wife Jane have proudly instilled in your children, Stephen, Daniel, Rachel, and Andrew. I also have to stop just to acknowledge the presence of your mother, Susie Wilf, in many ways our First Lady, and we're so pleased and honored to have you. Bis 120. You continue, together with your brother Ziggy and your cousin Lenny, your family's heritage of leadership in the future of Yeshiva University and the Jewish people. Always with a nod to the past and an eye toward the future, you represent the finest of human qualities, compassion and leadership, while you stand as one of the builders of the very infrastructure of the entire Jewish community. You and Jane have lent your leadership talents and energies to a tremendous variety of Jewish communal endeavors. Paralleling your achievements in business are your involvements in philanthropic causes, including the Jewish Federations of North America and Yad Vashem in Israel, as well as constructing a new Rutgers Hillel Student Center for those too foolish to come to Yeshiva University. Your family's journey began with your parents, Joseph and Elizabeth. After surviving the Shoah, they immigrated to the United States in the early 1950s and settled after they started in Galveston, Texas, right? Birmingham, Alabama, which is right near Galveston. And settled in Hillside, New Jersey. After a brief stint as a used car salesman, in 1954, your father and his late brother Harry founded Garden Homes Incorporated, which they together built into one of the largest real estate development firms in the United States. The Wilf Family Foundation has, in this past half-century, given more than $200 million to the Jewish community and Israel, to causes that range from Holocaust remembrance to education, health, social services, human rights, the arts, children's day camps, art programs, campus programs, athletics, and veteran support. After receiving your BA in electrical engineering and computer science with honors from Princeton University and your JD from NYU Law School, you first worked as an attorney, then joined the family business heading one of the company's affiliates, Garden Commercial Properties. You developed the company from 4 shopping centers in northern New Jersey to over 100 properties, including several large malls. In 2005, you and your brother Ziggy took control of the National Football League's Minnesota Vikings. At around the same time that a genetic marker shared by individuals with Jewish and Viking origins were discovered, highlighting a centuries-old theory that Vikings were actually Jews. As co-owner and president of the Vikings, you inspire aspiration. As a principal of Garden Homes Development, you inspire ambition. And as a Jewish leader, you inspire hope for the future of Jewish continuity. Your father was a key force in recruiting me to Yeshiva. You have assumed his mantle of gentle leadership. The Wilf name looms large at Yeshiva University. The Wilf campus is home to our main center. The Wilf Scholarship, a signature program, makes it possible for hundreds of students to attend Yeshiva University, with an average award of $20,000 per student. You support research at the Einstein College of Medicine. Most special to me, at our annual Wilf Luncheon, when our scholarship recipients gather to express their appreciation, and the Minnesota Viking flag waves from our flagpole, you spend time with our students, as does the whole family, and through your words of genuine warmth, you inspire them and get them to believe that they can do whatever they reach for. And your family's commitment continues. Mark Wilf, with all of your personal and familial success, we know that philanthropy is your family business, and Yeshiva is one of the family homesteads. It is my great privilege and my personal privilege to confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters, honoris causa. In token thereof, I cause to be placed upon your shoulders this visible symbol of our high regard for you, and I hand you this diploma. Congratulations. Congratulations. Thank you, Dr. Wolf. Thank you, Dr. Wolf.
Tonight's final honoree and keynote speaker, the Honorable Andrew M. Cuomo, will be presented by Dr. Nancy Hollander, member of the Board of Overseers for Furkauf Graduate School of Psychology of Yeshiva University. Joining in honoring Governor Cuomo are Mr. Elliot Gibber and Mr. Michael Jesselson.
Mr. President, I am pleased to present the Honorable Andrew M. Cuomo, Governor of the State of New York, for conferral of the degree of Doctor of Laws, honoris causa.
Sir. Governor Andrew Cuomo, we at Yeshiva University honor your lifelong commitment to public service and legacy of leadership that you invoke to make government work for the people of this great state. A true friend of the State of Israel, you were literally on the front lines during last summer's Gaza conflict. As New Yorkers and as Jews, we celebrate that you demand from us and from yourself a commitment to do the best for others. In 1983, Mario Cuomo, then governor of New York, received the same Doctor of Laws degree that I am about to confer on you. In so doing, my predecessor, President Norman Lamb, said the following: "You have shown a rare quality of leadership as you have sought ways to make government more humane and responsive to the needs of the citizen," unquote. It's one great tribute to who you are that the same words apply to you. You once said you were elected to come to make the New York State government work better, and that's what you're doing. And good luck to you. You are a source of immense pride for your constituents and for the first family of New York, especially Sandra Lee and your daughters, Mariah, Cara, and Michaela, and your wonderful mother, Matilda. Born in Queens to Matilda and Mario Cuomo, the children of immigrants, you came from a family who believed in the power of the American dream. Your parents, true life partners for over 60 years, deeply valued education. You, along with your siblings, Maria, Margaret, Madeline, and Christopher, never forgot the Cuomo family tradition of academic excellence and distinction in the service of the community. These values resonate with us, as they too are the values of Yeshiva University. After graduating from Archbishop Malloy High School in 1975, not yet a part of Yeshiva University, you completed Fordham University and Albany Law School in 1982. You began your career as campaign manager for your father, then served as an assistant district attorney in New York before entering private practice. You founded the Housing Enterprise for the Less Privileged and were appointed chairman of the New York City Homeless Commission, where you served from 1990 to 1993. You joined the Clinton administration in 93 when you were appointed assistant secretary at the United States Department of Housing and Urban Development, and in 1997 became secretary. Under your leadership, HUD was transformed into a revitalized engine for economic development and unprecedented housing opportunities. You became Attorney General of New York in 2006. As the state's top legal officer, you made restoring public trust in government and protecting New York taxpayers the top priority of your administration. You were elected governor of the state of New York in 2010, re-elected in 2014. Since assuming office, you've been committed to economic stimulus, to being sensitive to human rights for all citizens, and for prioritizing our community's educational needs, as well as the needs of other communities. We are grateful that you have chosen to live a life of public service. Your determination and championship of tolerant values makes our society a better place for us all. As a forceful voice for economic opportunity and justice, you stand by your convictions, and as one who believes in serving the people, you are an inspiration to 6,000 of my students. Governor Andrew M. Cuomo, Yeshiva is honored to welcome you into our tradition of multiple generations of alumni. It is my privilege to confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Laws honoris causa. In token thereof, and with high regard, I hand you this diploma. Thank you very much, Governor. I'm supposed to take this away from you so you don't lose it. Ladies and gentlemen, the Governor of New York.
Thank you very much. Thank you. It's one of the few introductions that I think I need a rebuttal to. First, I was not the governor at the George Washington Bridge. I don't even take the George Washington Bridge. I take the Lincoln Tunnel. But other than that, the introduction was kind. It's truly my honor to be here this evening, and let me first join in honoring the distinguished co-honorees of this evening. It's my pleasure to witness the honoring of Dr. Dobrinsky and Dr. Chouake and Mr. Sternthal and Mr. Wilf. Mr. Wilf, we want you to know that we love the Vikings and we root for the Vikings, just we root for the Jets and the Giants and the Buffalo Bills first, but then we root for the Vikings. Priorities. To Nancy Hollander and Michael Jesselson, who have been good friends for a very long time, I thank them for their help this evening. Phyllis and Jack Rosen, who are here. Leon Charney's here, who's been long friends. Moshael Straus, for your leadership, we thank you. And President Joel. If you detected a little tension between myself and President Joel, tension really isn't the right word. I don't know the right word in English. In Italian, we would say tsuris. We had an encounter over the cap and gown when we were planning today's event. He showed me the cap and gowns, the black cap and gowns and the blue cap and gown, and I said I would like the blue cap and gown. And he said, you can't have that one. And I said, why? He said, that's my cap and gown. I said, no problem, I'll get another blue cap and gown. He said, no, there can't be two blue caps and gowns, only one, only mine. I said, where is that written? I'm the governor of the state. And he said, well, yeah, but I'm a president, and the president beats governor. And hence the separation of church and state. I've been looking through the pictures because I think my father had a blue cap and gown. And if he had a blue cap and gown, I'm going to come back to the president, I want you to know, because I have not worn a cap and gown in protest to not being able to wear the blue cap and gown. So if you're wondering why not. But it is my honor to be here. It's especially an honor to receive the same award that my father received. We lost my father just about a year ago, this time of year, during the holidays. And this is the first holiday season without him, and it brings back many memories. He had been failing, my father, for some time, and he was a man of immense dignity and pride. And he had made it clear that he didn't want to live life if life was not going to be a dignified situation, and it was coming close to that point. And we were very close, my father and myself, all our lives. And I would be talking to him through the holiday season and saying, well, you have to make it for this holiday, you have to make it for this holiday, you have to make it for this holiday. And he understood the routine, and he was getting a little tired of it, and I said, you have to make it for my inauguration on January 1. I need you there on January 1. It's a big speech. I'm going to work on the speech. I need your help on the speech. And he said, you don't need my help on the speech, and you don't believe that you need my help on the speech. But I promise you I will be there for your inauguration. And I looked him in the eye and I said, you promised me, Pop. He said, I promise you. But that's it. Morning of my inauguration, I went to say hello. I then went to the inauguration. He heard the inauguration via telephone. He heard the speech. After the speech, January 1, he passed away. Lived up to his promise, which was that he was going to be there for the inauguration, and he was, and that is quintessential my father. So to have the same award that he received truly is special and poignant to me. And especially from Yeshiva University, because it is a great university that teaches values and not just academics, which is more and more important today. The university's commitment to Torah Umara, seeking knowledge in the arts and science, and combining this knowledge with the universal and timeless values of the Torah, which enlightens an increasingly closed-mind world. Your mission to pursue what President Joel calls shlemut, or wholeness, that is a life dedicated to integrity and purpose and responsibility, will enable us to combat the ignorance and hatred that seems to be growing on a daily basis. Perhaps most importantly, a yeshiva education guides students to the understanding that, as the ancient philosophers taught us, it's not the circumstances that define us, but our response to those circumstances. And today, this is especially true. The future of our country, yea, the future of our world, rests on our ability to respond wisely. Personally, I've always had a strong relationship with the Jewish culture. Part of that comes from growing up in New York City, where the Jewish culture is such a big part of what makes New York, New York. Part of that is my family upbringing. My father always had a special affection for the intellectualism and philosophy of Judaism. I remember as a boy sitting in the kitchen, listening to him debate for hours with his Rabbi Israel Moshewitz, who then went into government service with my father later on. And they would discuss and debate the teachings of the Bible and the interpretation of those teachings. So it's no great surprise when 2 of my 3 sisters married men who happen to be Jewish. My sister Maria was told by my Italian grandfather, who was very subtle, it would be nice if you married a man with a vowel at the end of his name. Maria, who was very literal, went out and married Kenneth Cole. My sister Margaret married Howard Mayer, who's a beautiful fellow who served as 8 years as the chairman of the Holocaust and Tolerance Center out on Long Island, which is a beautiful facility that does great, great work. Coincidentally, my 3rd sister married an Irishman. Now, I was never sure if it was symbolic or coincidental that none of them married an Italian man. Maybe they knew better. But tonight we come together what I believe is a very important moment for this country as we deal with the onslaught of terrorism. In New York, we are no stranger to terrorism. We lived through 9/11, 3,000 people gone. But this is different. This is a terrorism that is happening with an alarming frequency and an alarming ease and spontaneity. It's a moment in time in which I hope this country intelligently reflects on this new threat to the United States and on its relationship to Israel. Israel has endured terrorism like no other nation on the globe. I've heard people in the wake of Paris and San Bernardino say, who could have imagined that this could happen? I'll tell you who could have imagined that this could happen. The Israelis could imagine. And not only could they have imagined, and not only did they imagine that this would happen, they actually have been warning Western civilization for decades that this day would actually come. In the 1990s, I was in the Clinton cabinet. I was Secretary for Housing and Urban Development, and I did work in Israel with then Prime Minister Ehud Barak. He was emphatic in his message that the Americans did not understand the real problem that Israel was dealing with and how the threat of terror was constant and daily and pervasive and suffocating, and how unrelenting their enemy. I was in Israel when there was an attack an early morning at a bus stop where 2 people were seriously injured. That afternoon, I went to the bus stop, and I was amazed at how there was no sign whatsoever of the attack. That Israel had lived with this terror for so long. They were so adept at dealing with it and moving on and not allowing it to control their society. It left me with a lasting impression of how this had become a continuing presence in the life of Israelis and how foreign it was for Americans. In truth, Americans didn't understand this constant, pervasive threat because we didn't experience it the way the Israelis did. And the truth is that for a period of time, the terrorists were about 6,000 miles away, oceans away in the Middle East. But the internet has changed all that almost overnight. Social media is now a global network, and now hate spreads like a virus. I traveled again to Israel in August 2014, a time when thousands of Hamas rockets were being fired from Gaza at civilian targets in Israel. Accompanied by former Shimon Peres, I walked through a field excavated by the Israeli army to reveal a Hamas tunnel that had emerged from the Gaza border. It was within a stone's throw of a kibbutz. I got a chance to look at one of those tunnels. These tunnels were miles long. They were elaborate. They were concrete reinforced. They had electrical conduit. They had lights. They must have taken months and months to build and dozens of people. Imagine the energy spent. Imagine the dedication. And what was striking to me was the dedication was not for money. It was not for fame. The tunnel was built for one purpose and one purpose only. and that was to kill. The hateful drive that fueled such a diabolical effort was frightening. During that trip to Israel, I met with Prime Minister Netanyahu to discuss these threats, and he posed a question to all of us I'll never forget. What is the greatest moment in democracy, he said. While we all had our own answers, none matched what he had in mind. The concession speech, he said, and I have to admit that I didn't understand what he meant at first. Then he explained his reasoning. Radical Islamists committed to total destruction and a totalitarian state will never concede. They are committed only to destruction. And he explained that the enemy wasn't just an enemy to Israel, but to democracy wherever it existed worldwide. Israel was only proximate. They were on the other side of the border, but all Western civilizations would be in the firing line. How prophetic were his words. Prudence dictates that we recognize this threat for what it is, and that it's not going to go away. We must do all that we can do to battle this growing cancer of terrorism using all the tools at our command. And we have not a moment to lose. I'm proud to say that New York is doing its part. First, we passed a regulation because New York is the financial capital of the world. And too many terrorist groups are being laundered too much money to allow them to continue their operations. In New York, we're going to have a new regulation that requires senior financial officers from our financial institutions to sign a certification that says their institutions have systems in place to detect, weed out, and prevent illicit transactions. These regulations will help shut the spigot on money flowing to terror groups. Second, we have to protect ourselves. And we have to be smart about it, and we have to be sophisticated about it. And the government paralysis that is in Washington right now is dangerous. And the political partisanship we're seeing right now is dangerous. The partisanship is leading to more alienation. We don't need to alienate more Muslims. We need to forge more alliances with Muslims. And we need to be smart about protecting ourselves. And we need our federal government to be smart. This morning I stood with Senator Schumer at the foot of the Statue of Liberty. The federal government has a terrorism watch list, or what they call the no-fly list, which means our government has information that leads them to believe these terrorists or suspects are allied with terrorist organizations. So much so that they don't allow those people to fly on a plane. But that same list of people can walk in and buy an assault weapon in this country today. What kind of lunacy does that suggest? The National Rifle Association is against any gun control. And I battled them for years. We passed in this state the SAFE Act, the most responsible gun control law in the United States of America we have in this state. Thank God. But the NRA has stopped Washington from acting. And Senator Schumer and I today said either the federal government should add that terror watch list to the background checks they do before people buy guns, or they should give it to the states and let us use that terror backlist to make sure we're not selling guns to suspected terrorists. That's either or, option A or option B. Either they do it or we do it. But it really is madness to say I have information, and based on that information, we won't allow a person to step onto a plane, but we will allow that person to pull a trigger. Not in the state of New York, not if we can do anything about it. Now is a special moment. It's a moment for the country to realize this new reality, another new normal that we have to deal with, because the situation is not going to go away on its own. Let us take this moment in time and reflect and learn. And reflect and learn from the experience of Israel and our relationship with Israel. Because Prime Minister Barak was right when he said Israel was the first to encounter terror, but it would soon spread globally. President Perez was right when he said the radical jihadists will never be deterred. Prime Minister Netanyahu was right when he said Israel's enemy is the enemy of democracy globally. Judaism is right when it teaches us tikkun olam, to reach out to heal the divide, to heal the breach. And Mario Cuomo was right when he said we stand with Israel, united as brother and sister, as family, that Israel's enemy is our enemy. Israel's fight is our fight. It is a fight we cannot lose if we are to maintain our values and freedom. It is a fight we can only win if we win it together. As we complete the menorah candle on this last night of Hanukkah, let us all universally accept this relationship, appreciate this relationship with Israel, appreciate the partnership and the wisdom it can bring. And that, my friends, will be the first step towards victory. Thank you for the honor, and thank you for having me tonight.
Thank you, Governor. Thank you all for joining us, and congratulations to our honorees. Will you all please rise for Hatikvah and join in the singing, which will be led by Cantor Freeman.
Nefesh Yehudi Omiya Ulfatei Mizrach Kadima Ayin Letzion Sophia Orlo Avdar Tikvatenu Hatikvah Shnot Alpayim Liot Amechofshi Be'aretzeinu Yeretz Zion Yerushalayim Liot Amechofshi Be'aretzeinu Eretz Zion, Yerushalayim.
Will the audience please remain standing for the recessional? Please remain at your seats until all program participants have left the room. Mr. President, Governor Cuomo, Chairman Straus, honorees, ladies and gentlemen, the convocation ceremonies are now concluded.